Howdy, hello. It is your host, King Nub, once again with another episode of the King Nub Show. I was out the week prior due to myself having COVID and a terrible voice, but I am here now giving you the news. The news and then obviously how I feel on the news. So let's get into it. New York City has been all kinds of wild. If you don't know that, you're gonna find out how wild. Two stories, but the first goes over this. At a history museum in New York City, there were 5 people arrested, including a 9-year-old, for not providing proof of vaccination. Other news sources would try to tell you that these people were arrested because it was after hours, but as clearly stated, this was a protest. And the fact that you need a COVID vaccination passport to get into a history museum is disgusting. As I said, amongst these 5, a 9-year-old was arrested. 9 years old, a child. They don't care who they get. If you don't have your proof of vaccination, you are the enemy. You're being taken out. Regardless of the large amounts of crime and the skyrocketing crime in New York City, they don't care about that. They care about these people who aren't vaccinated, the people who are supposedly unhealthy. And because of them, the world is in danger. And despite the fact that a baby was shot in the face not too long ago in New York City, this is what they're worried about. Other than the fact that a baby was shot in the face the other day in New York City, someone was pushed in front of a train and killed Michelle Go, an Asian American. And they haven't told you who the suspect is. It's not all over the news. You know why?
Yeah, can't say that.
If you want to know why, go over to our Patreon. How you doing, folks? It's now Future Reggie telling himself that he could have gotten himself in really big trouble if he said what he said during this video. So I stopped. But if you do want to hear this, go over to our Patreon. If you want to hear more unfiltered, straight up, raw, fantastic content and great stuff produced by us, and to help us create amazing content and help this organization grow, go over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Red Liberty Media. You go here, become a member, you help support an amazing organization grow and help us produce even greater quality content. So if you want to be part of something epic, sign up now. Back to the video. But yes, as I said, crime in New York is skyrocketing, but people who aren't vaccinated are being treated like the public enemy. This young child was crying because they were being drugged out by the police. This behavior is disgusting. Regardless if you are a cop, I don't want to hear that this is my job. I'm just doing my job. I don't care. You are a human being. These are human beings. You ought to have the ability to tell right from wrong, and you should know that this is wrong. Just like in New York City and a bunch of other cities, you can't go into different restaurants, you can't go into a gym, you can't go into a store if you don't have your proof of vaccination. You can't go into McDonald's if you don't have your proof of vaccination. You can't go and eat unhealthy, life-damaging food without your proof of vaccination. How silly is that? If you haven't seen any video of it, I'll show you now.
You guys fight for your own freedom. This is your fight, NYPD. This is your fight, NYPD. You are traumatized. This is your fight, NYPD. This is your fight as well. We stand with you. Forward or
I want to know their name. Back up, thank you. Read.
You are traumatizing a little child.
Yeah, no, we don't want to. Disgusting. No.
Look at the child.
I know a captain that works in the Central Park.
Look at the child. Look at her. Look at the child. This is what we're doing to children.
Where are you taking her? Where are they taking her? Like, it's a
Child abuse. What kind of future do we want for our children? What kind of future do we want for our children? Just because she refused to show her papers of her experimental gene therapy. We are going to...
Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. On to our next story. Also in New York City, a man named LaShawn McNeil shot 2 police officers, killing one of them after being shot and killed by another cop coming into the house. The cops were on their way from a domestic violence call where their mom had placed a call because this wasn't the first time that this had happened. The mother was there, LaShawn McNeil's brother, and then LaShawn. The mother and the brother met the officers outside, and that's when 2 of the other officers went inside to go get LaShawn McNeil. After talking to him for a little bit, he then began to open fire. It is unknown why LaShawn had decided to pull the trigger and shoot at these officers, killing one of them. But what we do know is that the drum on this Glock that he had was stolen back in 2017. This drum on this pistol held an additional 40 bullets. Other than the fact that the attachment onto that pistol was stolen back in 2017, he's committed other numerous crimes. Back in 2002, he assaulted a police officer. He was also arrested back in 2003 as well for having possession of narcotics. As you can see, this was not a model citizen. Cops have come here before. This man was 47 years old. New York City has a very big crime problem. Jason Rivera was the cop that was shot and killed this day. Rest in peace to him and condolences to his family. I apologize if there was some high energy and anger being poured out in this video, but the stuff, it's frustrating to listen to and to hear and see, but it must be talked about. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that bit of news and opinions from your host, King Nub, and I'll see you next time.